I'm finding the Palworld controversy to be absolutely hilarious. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Harrison, and today we're talking about Palworld. I know I just talked about it a few days ago as my initial reaction to the game. I'm continuing to have an absolute blast with it. I know it's janky. I know it's an early access, but it's just fun. It's a fun video game, and God forbid a video game actually is fun. So let's talk about it. So there's a lot of controversy since the game came out. I mean, it's doing the last I saw online, it's at like 6 million units sold uh in like 4 days, and I don't even think that counts the like obviously you're not selling it on Xbox. I think you can buy it through the game preview program, but it's on Game Pass. So I don't know if that even counts. Game Pass even counts into that equation. So it could be so much more. Um so yeah, the success of Power World is mind-boggling. It's so interesting, and I love talking about this stuff because right now I feel like we'll never get like an ET style crash back in like the 80s for video games, but the upward trend of AAA development, it feels like it's at kind of like the crash point. Again, video games aren't going to stop producing or stop coming out or anything like that, but we're getting to a point where video games cost so much money to make in the AAA space. And I'm gonna pick on PlayStation, not because of any sort of console war nonsense or anything like that, but just because of the Insomniac leaks that came out, last month at this point. It talked about how Spider-Man cost between like 200 and 300 million dollars to make, which is absurd. It's an insane amount. We don't know, we don't know how much, like Zelda Tears of the Kingdom cost to make. We don't Video games are like the most secretive industry out there, compared to movies and music and all that other stuff. I feel like we know generally what a movie costs to make as far as how much it actually costs versus the marketing and blah blah blah. Where with video games, we generally don't ever get access to that information. Um, the only thing we ever get is the MPD numbers, and that's usually just physical. It doesn't even count digital sales. So we don't really actually know how much a game has sold or didn't sell, or whatever the case is. We can only go by what we are given and what we told. And with Power World, it's the numbers are absolutely insane. I feel like every like once a year, maybe twice a year, a game comes out and it just does absurd numbers and just kind of blows everybody out of the park. And the reason why I'm comparing it to Spider-Man and to PlayStation and the AAA game space is because you got to think Power World probably didn't cost an incredible amount to make, right? There's obviously part of the controversy out there is the AI stuff where I believe the CEO of the Power, I don't know their name, but the development company, um in the past has tweeted about like AI art and stuff like that, generative AI. And look, I know we think the initial thought about AI is super negative and it takes away jobs and this and that. But I think as we go on, more video game companies are going to use AI. They're going to use AI to develop very quick assets because obviously before that it could take up time. Now you could argue that it kind of takes out, the love and care and the craft that goes into building each character model and that stuff like that. But there are I think AI can be good in other aspects, like asset design, right? Now, obviously, the big controversy is, did they use AI? Did they put in like a Pokemon name and say, okay, base it off of this, but make it a little bit different? We don't actually know that. So I'm not gonna use that as a negative towards the game because we just don't know. I know a lot of people make assumptions, and it's online, it's Twitter, it's X, whatever. People are gonna make assumptions, and that's it happens every single day about every single video game that ever comes out. It's honestly tiring to read, but yeah, so yeah, it's very interesting to where a game that's indie, right? And an independent studio is making this game and selling 6 million copies in 4 days. That's that's unheard of. Like AAA games don't even do those numbers, and Yeah, you just got to think that some of these AAA developers are just kind of, you know, hitting their head against the wall because you spend all this money, all these years making a game, and they usually AAA in the AAA game space, the games sell, but not to this degree so fast, and probably not a lot of money behind it, and you could tell right in Power World, it's very again it's very janky, very early access, but there's a lot of meat to it, and the game is just fun, So, but I want to talk about the other controversies too. You've got the side of people defending the Pokemon Company. Oh, it's a rip off of Pokemon, and yeah, the designs are similar, and one could argue that they're very similar. But why are we defending a multi-billion-dollar company at this point? Pokemon has had so many chances to give players what they want, and it was a step in the right direction with Arceus, and to a point, Violet and Scarlet. But the game just ran so poorly, and again, it's a multi-billion-dollar company, and we can't get a game to run on the Switch. Look at Tears of the Kingdom. Look at other games. This game, yeah, Tears of the Kingdom it does have its frame rate issues, but the game runs incredibly well. You know, Mario Odyssey, 2017 game runs better than Pokemon Violet. So I know that the Pokemon company needs to give Game Freak more time to to make the games. And I know it's all based on the cards and the anime and this and that, but the toy line, it's got to be done in a certain amount of time. But this is Power World is kind of this is what Pokemon fans have wanted for so long, and I think that's why it's doing so well. It blends the survival and crafting aspect with the Pokemon formula, and it's again, it's fun, and I don't understand why people are defending Pokemon like they feel like they have to defend the Pokemon Company and Game Freak and whatever. It's like this is kind of what we've been asking for. Maybe not so much the survival stuff, but just an open world where we can go anywhere at any point that we want, and these creatures are just there. And, I understand in Arceus and Violet and Scarlet, they're out in the open world, but it took so long for it to get to that point, and we get something out of nowhere that is just really fun. Like it's I've had more fun in this game than I've had in Pokemon in years. And I know there's diehard Pokemon fans that love Pokemon and don't want to speak ill will of Pokemon because they just love it so much. But as someone who grew up with Pokemon for my whole life, it's let me down in the last few games, in the last few iterations, and who knows if I'm going to be playing Power World, within the next month or two. I don't know that, but right now it's scratching that itch that I wanted Pokemon to give me, and it just hasn't in a long time. Again, Arceus, I loved Arceus, but Arceus was like my favorite Pokemon game in a very long time. So again, I don't understand why people are coming to defend the Pokemon Company. They can defend themselves. I know they already took down that that Pokemon mod where you play as Ash Ketchum and you've got Pikachu and a bunch of other Pokemon in the game. People are so quick with mods these days. So yeah, obviously they're going to take that down. I don't know if they're going to be able to take down the actual game itself, but and I hope they don't. Because again, I think competition is good. Competition breeds excellence. If we don't have competition, then we get stuff like Pokemon where it's just the same very minor iterations across multiple games, and it takes so long for us to get to where we want to. So again, I think Power World is a good thing to happen, and maybe hey, who knows if Pokemon Company is going to change? Probably not. But hey, at least we've got Power World that we can say, okay, hey, this is a good starting foundation, and they're it's obviously in early access, so they're going to improve upon it, and we go from there, and we get something really really special. Who knows? Who knows what this game looks like a year from now? The other controversy obviously is the PlayStation, the hardcore fanboys. They've got to get their shots in. I saw one. I'm not going to bring up the Twitter because I didn't save it or anything like that. But uh, number one game on Steam right now, like it's broken concurrent records, and you know they've got to make it about. They've got to push the console war narrative in there, and Xbox fans are just happy to be playing Power World, I guess. And I've got people comparing it like Starfield. Like it's like why are we comparing Power World to Starfield? Because they're both on Xbox and PC. and that's about it. Most Xbox people probably aren't buying Palworld, they're just playing it on Game Pass, and that's why they're so excited to be playing it. And it's not even like the up-to-date version. So I don't know why we have to continue. Like, it's exhausting to push the console war nonsense into every little thing that comes out. It's irritating. And honestly, like, The Last of Us just came out last week, and I was all ready to hear, all this stuff online about The Last of Us and how great it is, or the other side of the spectrum with the Xbox fans, laughing at yet another Last of Us remake, and I didn't hear anything. It was all Power World, and honestly, I'm kind of here for it. I enjoy The Last of Us, but I was ready to see that conversation again online, and it just kind of got, and if there was any, it got completely overshadowed by Power World. So I don't get why we have to bring in the console war nonsense into this game. It makes no sense. And people are just doing it because you can get paid online to talk about it on Twitter. So I obviously understand engagements, but it's really annoying, and it makes no sense while we're comparing the sales of this to Starfield and other things. It's just hilarious to me. But I think at the end of the day, I'm gonna wrap up this video. I think Power World is just a fun game, and I think that's okay. Yes, does it heavily inspired by Pokemon? Is it stealing? I can't answer that question. Are the designs similar? Sure, but you have cartoonish monsters. They don't have that monopoly, right? You've still got like Digimon and other stuff too that's kind of it's pretty similar, right? And then you've got like obviously the building aspect of it, the survival aspect, the you got the Tears of the Kingdom, in like Breath of the Wild, like the little ding it makes whenever you find a new location, like the title pops up of where you're at. It sounds like Tears of the Kingdom. And then you've got the Elden Ring like boss arena thing where it's got the little glowing center in the middle, and you go in, and then it warps you to like a boss arena. So yeah, I mean, I love all that stuff in those other games, and they're pulling it into one. No game is completely original anymore. Everybody's kind of borrowing ideas from other ones, and I'm all here for it. I think Power World could be something extremely special. It kind of already is, um, and I'll be probably gonna play it right after this video, to be honest. It's just that fun. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about the controversy online. There's always controversy about everything. It's incredibly annoying. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Consider subscribing to the channel. I'll let YouTube algorithm pick one of my videos below for you guys to watch. Give it a click, and I hope you enjoy. And I will see you in the next video.